So much.
Like a snake in my
Faster than I did. She just speeds up because it's water. That's lovely. Oh, like it.
Tell me. You have to take a pen water.
I mean, this has got plenty of power. We'll just do it on my phone so that my phone doesn't die.
Oh, okay.
See, look at
I have another extension cord. You want me to get a second one? Oh, we could have a surge protector. There we go. I've learned not when things are closed, most of the time it's closed. These are so weird.
Health education. My mom worked before she transferred to nursing we gotta see that guy. Is that red patch in that uniform? On that. The red patch is 7th Infantry Division.
They're all up there.
Oh, they're all there. I don't hear any tapping. I don't want all this other
Oh, you talk. But did you say something like that? I've been ghosted.
Oops, there's a reason for that, I guess, right?
You know how to get the speakers on? Yes.
I'll go there.
Well, I hope so.
No, I have nothing. Nobody sat on it? I had to talk to him because he's sitting in same outfit I was in. I didn't know him, but it was that red patch with the black on his shoulder. That's the same unit I was in.
There was 4 of us, like,
I heard a little bit.
Me too.
Yeah.
I could hear it.
It's okay. You never read it? No, she hasn't even. Her fault for even going
Just talking to myself.
so many years ago.
But at least he could not choose.
Yeah. Hello. Hey. We got it working.
Nice job.
Nice. All right.
Hi. How are you, my dear? Oh, good. How was the service up front? Been on the price on. Are you there to help her? I think I saw you looking over. And I think your chin, you got some room right over your chin. Right there and right there. Good? Oh, okay. Well, then you should go get it. Just clean it up.
I didn't really
Yes, right. Just want to get home, get over that bridge.
Thanks for streaming.
West? It's West. I heard he's around here somewhere, but I don't know where.
Somebody said he's outside. Yeah. There's a city in that they've been on the sea.
I have to. His dad would always make sure I got his CDs. After poisoning my brain on Kenny G and
Oh yeah. Yeah, he plays really well.
and all that. He's good. He's good.
I didn't know he could.
Yeah. Anyway. See, I've got to be careful how I talk about jazz because there's a lot of people around it. I think that
I still like rock and roll.
my dad was the cook on a Mississippi tugboat from New Orleans, and so when he went to these events, he thought there ought to be a sound line, you know, when the Saints go marching, and that a celebration, you know, believe that had celebration, well, which means that this world religion is all messed up, you know. So I hope we have the guy who take us home someday. Anyway,
Take care.
Probably should have go behind your dumpster.
All right, you ready to go there?
I just wanted some pre-books.
She's out in the hallway.
COVID happened, we really got the most public events. So I said, fine, I'll take Oh yeah,
Let's
What's happening there?
Well, me too. Good. I was talking to Serena. She said you guys are in Spokane.
Yeah.
She said you're doing a really interesting job with project management.
Oh yeah, yep. I'm doing project management for Western Construction. Some project management, some really just whatever they need because it's a very small company. Jerry, the owner, his dad, his son, Jeff, who's the engineer.
Westland?
Yeah, Westland
Construction.
Yep. And so we have those two, and then there's one lady in front of our accountant, and myself in the office, and that's it. So sometimes they're doing stuff, sometimes they're doing AC or literally everything you see. And so, yeah, a lot of fun. Just probably, I like it a lot more than I liked the higher education stuff.
How many years have you been there?
3 years. What are you up to?
I'm living in Coeur d'Alene. Been there for 7 years now. Yeah, so there's I'm working in an RV campground there, doing construction and development and maintenance for the property. That's why I was interested because a lot of kind of over the years I've been developing the property and ended up doing a lot of like some things that you could call project management, where just designing the layout for the RV sites and finding a painting contractor and hiring crews to do certain things here and there. And, there's a lot of different aspects to building an RV park. You have to all the utilities, you have to coordinate and paving and whatnot. So that was something I was thinking about at the time, was trying to figure out what career to go into next. Is project management. I've heard of that, and that's why I really enjoy coordinating this project right here. I was kind of curious what, if you had construction background or what got you into that.
Well, the truth is, when I was in 5th grade, we built our own house, so my first experience in construction. But it was mainly one of those situations where, like, kind of Jeff and Jerry both go to the Southland Church, and so they have a daughter who's about the age of 16, and we were literally just sitting at PBS and TikTok, and he goes, so I said, well, I'm really about the construction industry. My whole experience after college did marketing, communication, and stuff like that. I said, but I did a lot of event coordinating, and so a lot of details of the shovel and stuff like that. And pretty honest, so if you go downtown, get together again. That whole city line is done by so there's a new bus stop, there's like earth glass on top. That was us. They came prefabricated, we just had to put it together. But that was about a year ago project that we had. All the city line, it's out there, about 5 stations. So yeah, and then pretty much from that, I'm slowly learning more and more about what it takes to effectively. That's kind of the hardest part about the process. How many washes, every single detail that you do.
No, I got a biology degree, and then I got into veterinary school at WSU, and I was in veterinary school for 3 years, and then I failed clinical pathology, and I went down get below 78% in one class now. They're more strict than med school, harder to get in than med school, and harder to stay in. But had an opportunity to work in Coeur d'Alene after that, and been there ever since. It's not a permanent thing, but it's very blessed to be able to work there and to live in such a great place. And just kind of been learning it's nice to have skills to fall back on like that. I do everything from carpentry, construction, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, and just do it all. And have all my own tools and just workshop trailer. So I enjoy all the trades, but trying to figure out a way to incorporate that knowledge into a career that doesn't use up my body. You kind of get tired of using the body sometimes.
Yeah, totally get that. And also, yeah, so I'll do my sure for different kind of situations and opportunities like that. But right now, pretty much every winter thing, we actually dial back and put everybody on a project. And then
doing projects mostly.
Yeah.
Commercial projects.
It's mostly public works, so it's federal government type stuff, which is great because they need it for all the improvements, like we had a class that I really iron worker, so they were tearing and stretching metal, even though it literally was welding, so they were making projects. Yeah, just screw in way more than what I want.
That's a good one.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the thing. Is you do yard work, you're out in the yard. So I call it. You can make way more money than anybody else. But with that one, if you go down to the front park, down there, there's the ice skate playground. There's a big butterfly that was up there. That one too. That was just fun to say.
Leading installations and custom installations.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing that Jeff is very like. They don't like to get specialized and know everything about HVAC. They just want to see a problem, like very
That's what I love to do. That's one of the things that's kept me at the RV campground as long as it has, because just getting to kind of have a creative design to things. And, I'll show you something I built this spring there. Just,
1 second.
And I was with her.
Or just last I just built that shelter for sell ice out of an ice chest there, and I wanted to work in classes yeah, that's why I live in an RV and live on the premises. Yeah, that's it. This spring I did this project. We have a campus patio and just designed this from scratch and the whole tile road and framed it up. And we did all the hatching. Big cabinets and that was I love doing that. Just have that space it's not a sustainable thing. I'm going to run out of projects to do eventually in the park, and we're almost been there almost 7 years, and slowly but surely been renovating the property. Almost projects.
I don't think
I still got another good year of things to do. We're putting a new cabin.
I'll get it. Yeah, it's so good to see you. I'll log that. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I got to start thinking about where that's that.
So it looks like you like detail finish type stuff.
Oh yeah,
So what I might do, I might talk to you. So we have our finisher, our carpenter. That was it. We have a carpenter. And then we have our carpenter. Yeah, my brother's
I worked in the carpentry department at Walmart.
Yeah.
up more in that job than I did in my classes. So, no, you can get education out. 10 years in college. And they're not using communications, though, that's
Just after this, before this, the guy we built the deck for, did he send you anything? Well, just a minute. I might find it over here in here. Yeah. Allen Marble. We'll see the pictures again. Just saying that everything was good. And there he is there. Relaxing. Who is he holding? Some little. No, some little. Toy. Or maybe it is a baby.
Is that the dream? The dream would
Be a kid's head?
Oh, dream would be
No, it's a stuffed animal.
Right. And he's fast asleep on his desk. And then the next picture, go out to the next picture. And I guess he likes that area too. And I thought that was kind of right on the deck. He does it every year. He says something like that and say how thankful he is.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yes, and his wife is in bad shape as well. And his comments were just went around.
I don't have my phone with me today. Had the objective of getting my phone out of the bedroom and realized I didn't have my shoes on, so I got my shoes on.
So he, remembers and I'm surprised all the time to see him. He was suffering.
Right. Well, he was underneath. And now it's the second round. He had gone into remission for about 6 years.
Right, then he was on this, and then obviously he must be through it because he seems to be in pretty good spirits and so on. And then he called me about helping his son. I can stay there. Once all the people go. Then I got chairs. Set this up. Do we know?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So this is all stuff kind of like yeah, no, I can see my mom's right now. And so,
Right there by the security thing where you can't do this here, mail it, that's the process.
You got it going.
But it's really hard.
That's pretty sought after. You got direct access to the valley.
Yep.
You're still in the mountains.
Yeah. So we're looking. We're trying to find something. It's probably going to take us a while. Our goal is
The opera.
We hosted
I'm not gonna talk. She's already told me.
I'm gonna go tell everyone that. Okay. So if you need to level
Notify again? Yeah, it's still running right now.
Oh, there's my dad down in Arizona watching it, and he said it cut out afterwards.
Okay, good afternoon. Again.
Yeah, we're back up again.
Just a short announcement. So we're gonna have some sharing time now. If you have stories, I've heard we have voicemails that will be played and videos that are going to be played as well. So if you have some stories that you'd like to share of Harold, obviously time appropriate so we can allow as many people to share as possible. But we will start that sharing time now, and we just thank you in advance for what you share.
I just wanted to be able to take a moment to share, but also to explain what we are doing here. For the last quarter century, we've known Harold very well, and as well as Dina Guthrie, who couldn't come today. She's in Florida, but she put together these slides, and so we made it so that they could be easily watched. You go through all of the slides within about 6 minutes. And so we just let it go on and on. And so just a few words about Harold. And this is a note that was written by my wife and some with me also. It says, "Dear Harold, our dear amigo, we are deeply saddened to know that you are gone. We will miss you, oh, our dear friend. Our tears of joy are knowing you are safe and resting in Jesus, your Savior and best friend. We will see you at that great and beautiful morning when the trumpet will sound and our dear Harold will arise with all the saints to meet Jesus in the air, and then we shall be together again." I think one of the most beautiful doctrines of the Seventh-day Adventist Church is that when you die, there's no consciousness after death. You don't have to worry about, is my loved one seeing all the suffering that's going on in the world and all the tragedies that are going? No, the next thing, since there's no consciousness, the next thing that they know will be Jesus coming and they being reunited with the loved ones who have stayed faithful. 24 years ago, we met Harold for the first time at George and Dina's home in California. Dear Amy, Dina's mom, who you'll see in a few of those pictures, was there also, and they forever changed all of our lives by introducing us to Chip. We knew from the start that we wanted to be a part of Chip, and it made the biggest influence in how I, as a family practice doctor, structured my practice. To see patients improve their health and decrease or get off of medications was the most satisfying thing that I did in my practice. I couldn't thank Chip and Hans and Harold and Amy and George and Dina enough for what they gave to me in that respect. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Blessed are the dead who die in the Lord. From now on, yes, says the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works, for now will follow him. That's in Revelation 14, verse 12 and 13. Harold became a real prayer warrior, and we believe his prayers will continue. Esther and I will forever be grateful for Harold's influence in our lives. I remember one time Harold was visiting in our home. We live in Northern California, and he often would go up to Canada, so he would stop by our house, sometimes going to or from, Washington State, just across the border from Canada. And while we were eating, he says, you know, you can always tell when you have a good breakfast, because after you're finished with your meal, you see all these peels, these skins of fruit, and stems and different things. So you get this pile of garbage, if you will, but you know that you got lots of fiber and high quality food at that meal. So we are very grateful for Harold helping us to make that health connection and change the way we lived. Thank you. Esther.
This is Dina. You see that picture? That's Dina and Harold. And what I'm going to read to you right now is Dina's tribute to Harold. I don't know if I'm going to make it. Thank you. It's going to be a little bit hard, but Dina and Harold worked so well together, and they made chip along with Hans Steele. And I don't know if you were acquainted with Hans Steele, but Hans passed away also this year. So there are several in our group, our leaders, that actually have gone to sleep. But we know that they won't be asleep for very long because Jesus is coming. But I want to read to you Dina's tribute to her friend, her brother, as she called him. And I hope I can read it. Harold, my colleague, friend, and adopted brother, it seems you went to sleep too soon. Somehow in my mind, you would always be here. I'm sure I'm not alone with that thought. But then you did put in more than 92 years, and many of us will never climb the mountain quite that high. So yes, it is okay that you laid down your pack to rest a while and let someone else sort through the things that remain. The things that remain? Oh, Harold, you didn't just leave boxes and books and pictures and files behind. You left us some of the warmest of life's memories. For me, those memories are splashed all over the U.S., Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and England. For 15 years, we shared our mission of training Adventist churches far and wide on how to conduct the CHIP program. We worked so hard that at times my husband, George, considered himself a CHIP widower. Nothing I have ever done was so thrilling as that mission. I will also believe that God led us into this ministry and that He used us both in spite of and because of who we were.
They really are.
Sometimes, and to tell you the truth, Dina didn't want to get into the CHIP program at all. Hans Steele sent her boxes of supplies. She put them up into the attic. She says if he wants it, he can come and get it or mail it back to himself. She didn't want anything to do with it, but the Lord worked on her heart. So sometimes we were irritated with one another and with our different ideas, but you and I both knew how to say I'm sorry and then move on. What never ceased to amaze me was that when I would call to say I was sorry for being impatient, you could never seem to remember or even notice that I had been. But that was who you were. You had the most open and forgiving heart I have ever known, except for my mother's heart, of course. Over the next 10 years after we retired from the Adventist CHIP Association, we still stayed in touch. I'll miss you sometimes joining our larger Mills and Nelson family for special holidays. I'll miss your random calls to share bits and pieces of your life. I'll miss the packets with scraps of this and that from your life in Portland that you used to mail my way, always with the apology that I should never feel obligated to keep anything. Well, don't worry, I didn't. I'd carefully look over each piece and then toss it out. But I treasure the connection it brought between your life in Portland and mine in Orlando. You had told me recently about another packet that you were preparing to send. I guess I'll just have to wait. Occasionally over the years, things would get lost, things you valued and held very dear. One of those was your precious gray Cartapaccio, right? Where's the pastor? And that's what it was that you carried with you everywhere with your important CHIP files. I can never hear that, I can still hear that frantic tone in your voice as you dashed anxiously here and there after a workshop or convention, searching and searching. We always seem to find it. But we felt especially sad when the blue and maroon jacket disappeared forever. I'd like to think your angel will hand it to you on resurrection morning along with your original carta paseo that finally went missing for good. And I do remember those times when he lost it in our home. He couldn't keep it together. I'm surprised he ever had one at the end. But that was always something we all laughed about. But the things that really matter, you never lost. Your great love for people. The minute folks began to arrive at our events, you were immediately focused on warm and engaging conversations with them, leaving me to finish the room and the materials to set up. People loved you for that, while I reminded myself that someone had to be the Martha. Your sense of humor. It was dry, pithy, and delivered with deadpan seriousness. You managed to spice up our workshops with that humor, and everyone loved it. The funny quips you credited to your mother. When I'd be weighed down with more to do than there were hours in the day, you would often say, well, it was worse in the war, or we will probably get through this, Dina, though we may never look the same again. And your love for Jesus. That was the best part about you. I will always remember you as a friend of Jesus. And only heaven knows how much you depended on that friendship. Thank you for passing that memory on as the most enduring one of all. So for now, good night, my dear brother. Thank you for being one of life's most precious friends. I will miss you, but George and I plan to see you in the morning.
I can, there it goes. I just want to share with you, of course we've known Harold for years since we came to church here when this church opened up, but when he had the 5-day smoking clinics over at the hospital years ago, he would work with those people to help them stop smoking. Then when they graduated, he would bring them over here to Sunnyside and we would feed them haystack suppers. And we did that many, 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 many times. And he had so many people that he worked with on that stop smoking that dearly loved him because he loved them. And they could feel that love, and it was that love that helped them with their stop smoking. But I just wanted you to know that it was many years we did that, and we loved doing it. We'd have a wonderful time together with him. And I want to tell you that I was a greeter here for 30-some years, and Harold and I were always visiting. And every Sabbath he would tell me, and he still would tell me up to I saw him last, let's remember, Lori, we're one day closer to Jesus coming. And that's going to be a wonderful time when we see him there in heaven, and he's going to be so filled with joy. I'd like to extend my deepest sympathy to the family, and I just want to say something real quick that'll just take a few minutes. When I first came here and Brother Harold found out that I was the Bible work, he called me. I don't know where he got my name from, but anyway, he said, I'm Harold Burden, and you don't know me. He said, but you'll get to know me real well. I said, okay, thank you. And ever since that time, he would always call me and pray with me.
and encouraged me. And so in our study group, we have a little joke because in the group I happened to mention that, oh, Brother Harold called me for my birthday. And then one of the guys said, oh yes, he calls everybody, so we have this joke now. My husband said, oh, you thought you were so special, but Harold calls everybody. So yes, he was a real encourager to me, and I'm so glad that I could be here today to pay my last respects to him, and I will never forget it.
My name is Lynn Berg, and I was just out of academy doing my student colportering, and a fellow colporter asked me, do you know Ato Burden? No, I never heard of him. He said, well, she said, he rooms with my brother, Benny Herrera. Says, you ought to get to know him. Well, I had that intrigue in my head, and 11 years later, he showed up in Peru, and we have been great friends ever since. Everything that I've heard today, your experiences, his graciousness, his caring, I can see him with somebody that you and I might not consider of importance, some stranger, young person. You'd think that it was his best friend. And people sense that. I'm so grateful for knowing him. We could share our hearts freely. Didn't stay long in Peru. In fact, one of my memories is watching him to my side view mirror as I'm driving away from my school in Lake Titicaca, 12,500 feet high, by the way, and he's weeping, he's cleaning his glasses. That picture has been in my mind. Somebody who cared so much for me. We were in separate continents for a number of years, and he happened to drop my name to the head elder of the Victoria Adventist Church in BC, and I got a call to the Canadian Northwest, U.S. Northwest, and of course we were closer together geographically at that time. Many, many pleasant moments together. My first wife was very appreciative of him. My second wife as well. He just was somebody that it was fun to have around. He always referred to his weird sense of humor. It wasn't weird, it was terrific. That's been mentioned, you know. He loved calling me his little brother. He's 3 years older than I am. And he never tired of congratulating me on my Spanish as if I had done something wonderful. I just happened to land in Argentina when I was 12 years old and go to school there and you learn the language, right? Anyhow, he just made you feel good. I'm going to miss him very much. He loved to wear that Korean cap, you know. That was his opener for witnessing, sharing with people. And he talked about, you know, war. Of course, he never set foot in Korea, but it didn't matter. He was able to share with somebody there. I expect when I get to heaven, I'll see a very heavy, brightly lit, star-studded crown on Harold's head instead of the Korean cap. But he just might surprise us. Before he came to Peru, he wrote me because he knew that I was driving a VW microbus, and he wasn't sure if that was the vehicle that he should invest in. He just wanted to know how I felt about it, how good it was in the Highlands, and so on. So I wrote him my opinion, and I said, you know, sometimes you might be a little concerned about something your wife said or did, but overall, you know she's the one for you. I says, that's kind of the way with the VW bus. It isn't perfect, but overall, it gets you where you need to go. It's air-cooled, and it has a high center, so anyhow, that was his.
I'm gonna put it on the desk.
Okay, we have a video that was sent into Verna, Israel Chambi. And it's a video, but I'm just going to put the mic by the speaker here. You won't see it. No, there's no way to.
To say a few words about his life. My name is Israel Chambi from the Peruvian Highlands and then nursery in California. Pastor Gordon became my first English teacher when I came in 1963 to the Lake Titicaca College in the Peruvian Highlands. His emotions, his ability to teach was wonderful, and I still remember how he was able to teach English to all the students at his place. He was the director of ministry, other relations at Sabbath School at the Lake Titicaca Mission, and he loved to interact with people. There was a situation at the church that one members of the church became demonized, and he started telling other members that he had prophetic visions, in a very compelling fashion was able to convince people to think differently. As the pastor became aware that he was demonized, he couldn't do anything, and he called the conference, the Lake Titicaca Mission, for an emergency meeting on August 14, 1967, to try to find somebody who could solve this problem. In the meeting, there was a decision for Pastor Gordon to take care of this problem. For reason, he was the only brave soldier from all the pastors that was willing to do the job. He requested 2 assistants and went to see this man. And he was able to take a demon away from this man and solve the problem. When Pastor Gordon was in the Peruvian Highlands, he was able to convert 10,000 people that came to the Lord by his hard work. His love for the mission was clear. And there was always other conference asking for him to go to their place to also do the same type of job. But Pastor Gordon will say, I'd like to stay here. This is where my heart is. Also remember very well that when the family came to the place when I was studying at the Lake Titicaca College, that the wife will play the piano. His beautiful wife was able to play several hymns with a special talent, as well as the children, and provide a special joy to everyone that was there. The Gordon family became so close to us that empowered our life with the strength, with love, as well as ability to see new heights. The life of Pastor Gordon was a beautiful symphony of strength, love for his children, love for his family, love for the church, and with the most important, passion for the mission field. His legacy will live in our lives forever until Jesus comes for the second time. And we'll be able to see the joyful personality of Pastor Gordon, where love was always in the air.
I'm Stan Christensen, and I knew Harold as he worked there in the hospital for several years, and he had a real sense of humor. If you had a few more pounds needed, he'd say, well, you're the lucky ones. If you went on a cruise up in Alaska and you fell in the water, you'd have plenty of insulation to keep you alive a little bit longer than the rest of us. And then, in those days, I don't really remember them, but when they had a program and they had slides, you had to turn off the lights. And with the movies and so forth, nowadays you don't have to do that. You have the TV monitors and you can watch those programs without dimming the lights. But he'd always say, we're going to turn up the darkness to watch the slides for us. I got more acquainted with him because Harold would volunteer, and he volunteered to work for Home Health. And he would, my wife was in the hospice program, and so he came over and he says, I don't know what to do. And he says, well, I need to go shopping and I need to be gone for an hour. He says, an hour? He says, that's a long time. What in the world would I be doing here for a whole hour? And of course, my wife's not the best one to have a conversation with, as her health was failing. And so I says, well, sing. She likes to sing. And he says, well, I don't sing. And he says, well, we'll work out something. And on his iPhone, he recorded, or I guess it's on a certain site there, that they have all the music for all the songs in the hymnal. And so he would sing with her, and she just had the most joyful time singing the songs together. As we were taking a trip on a cruise, it was my birthday, and Harold it was my birthday that day, and it was on a Friday, and the next day at church they were going to have communion. And so he sent me this email, and so this is Harold's own voice talking about the joy of going to communion the next Sabbath. So I just wanted to play that for you.
Harold Bird from Sunnyside Baptist Church, going through the birthday list that the Rosie puts in each week. And I believe you've already told me, or let me know, that you and Anita are going to be on some kind of a cruise somewhere in the world. South Pacific or something like that. Well, I wish you blessings and happiness and pray that in some way the Sabbath blessings can be yours even on a cruise. Because tomorrow I'm calling on the Friday afternoon is communion service. And I'm sorry that you and Anita are missing, because for me personally, it's very, very important that I can enjoy, and I am blessed with being part of the communion service tomorrow, Sabbath. And so, but God will continue to bless Sam and Anita. You know the story of their life together. And I pray that according to your will, the choices that they make, that our friendship will be an eternal friendship beyond this old life into eternity. Jesus, our best friend, not for time alone, but also for eternity. Keep us faithful, one day at a time, one moment at a time. And may we meet together for your honor and your glory in the kingdom to come. I thank you in the beautiful, wonderful name of Jesus Christ, Lord, Savior, and best friend for eternity.
So I just want to say that my appreciation for Harold goes back a number of years. My name is Ed Hoover, and one of the things that's really special for me about Brother Harold is he's the one that invited me and my family to come to Portland and to try and fill his shoes. And that was an impossible thing to do. We all have different gifts and things, but Harold was a real ally and friend for many years, and I'm so grateful for his friendship and the support that he gave me through the years, and his dedication to people, as has been mentioned, the Smoke-Free Support Group. It went for like 40 plus years until COVID killed it, and it was really very frustrating for a lot of us that have been involved with seeing that happen and be such an important part of many people's lives and their recovery. I just want to share one thing. I sent Harold a text on Thanksgiving, just wishing him a happy Thanksgiving and all that, and this was his response on Thursday night. He says, "It was outstanding, and be glad to tell you more about it before another Sabbath day, since you already know the people involved." And so I was really looking forward to finding out who Harold had hung out with on Thanksgiving Day. I knew he'd spent the time with Verna on the day before, right, Wednesday evening or something. So it's like, who was Harold hanging out with on Thanksgiving? And I was trying to run through all the people that it would possibly be with, and I still haven't found out who that was. So I'm looking forward to talking with Harold and the Earth Made New to find out who he was thankful and being able to be with on Thanksgiving Day. Maybe somebody has the answer to that here, but I'm looking forward to talking with Harold about that time. Thank you.
Jim Moore. I worked at Portland Adventist 46 and a half years, and so I have known Harold since he was there, since I've been there. In fact, Rosemaine processed my application through personnel back when I was a student nurse, back in the 70s. But Harold kept on my case to join CHIP, to get into CHIP. And so I joined CHIP kicking and screaming. And we had our CHIP training up at Sunset Lake, which is the summer camp up in Auburn area. We had our CHIP training. And I was debating that whole weekend whether I was going to lead out in CHIP in my church. And it just so happened that David Rodriguez, who used to work here at the hospital in Linen, had the Sabbath school lesson at the CHIP Sabbath, and it was on the 12 spies. And so he said, "Are you going to be the 2 spies that goes back to your church with a good report, or are you going to be one of the 11 spies that goes back to talk about CHIP?" Well, the Lord worked on me, and I was one of the 2 spies, thank God. So anyway, Harold felt safe with me, so he shared a lot of his personal life and his regrets, but I could see that through his life, he kept progressing and was sorrowful for those things. And you can tell that by the Serenity Prayer. So may we be faithful too.
Some packs for us.
Hello, with these wonderful people here. We're lucky enough to know this guy pretty good every Thursday. And I'm going to start by introducing to you first our little girl here, Renee.
Hi.
Renee.
So we volunteer at PAX, and that's how I knew Harold. And he just was an incredible man, and everything everybody says, I'm like, yes, that I can identify with that. That's how he talked to me. And he also started talking to me right away because he knew some people that worked at the Oregon Commission for the Blind through the CHIP program. I guess they got him, somehow they got connected. I don't really remember all that part. And because that same day he was asking me all about my blindness, and so I answered all of his questions. Yes, in '64 I was born with cataracts, and I have an identical twin sister. We're both legally blind and everything. The reason why I can't remember everything is because he said, you know, you've been on God's mind since long before you were a twinkle in your mama's eye. And I felt like I was on top of the world. Nobody had presented it to me like that. And so I became more involved in PAX, and I grew self-improvement, and I lost my son, I found out, and I didn't want to tell Harold. I was ashamed. And Harold just sat down in the break room and he told me a story about how the Adventists believe that you go to sleep. And he just made me feel so much better there in that area. And he told me that the Christian Records had a lot of money, and I'm learning how to read Braille. I finally embraced my blindness at, age like 58. And so, and I feel like, finally became in aligned with God, because this is who I truly am. And then all of a sudden, I'm reading books that, because I have screen readers, and I'm learning Braille, and he told me that Christian Records, they had funding for Braille, and I don't know why we were having a hard time getting me on it. I just finally got a Christmas card from them in Braille this past Christmas, and I didn't get to tell Harold that, but anyway, there's just so many things that, and I'm being from the South, I'm a meter and a greeter, so we, I was like, you got the job, Harold, But anyway, I'll let, is that anything to say?
I started volunteering at PAX because of Harold. I would go to PAX to get clothes or books or, to shop. And Harold came up to me and asked me why I was in a wheelchair. And I told him that I had brittle bones and that I broke easy and all that. And he was just a very matter-of-fact gentleman, and he just made me feel that I had more self-worth when I didn't. And he just really brought people up and made me want to volunteer and come back into society, because I had lost my significant other, and I was just out there, and he made me want to volunteer there. And I was like, well, Harold, what day do you work? And so he was like, Thursday. And so it was just, he was just like a fun guy to be around, and he made me want to live again, or want to get up in the morning and like, oh yeah, I gotta go see my cat. It's so funny because I have my home with my daughter and the cat, and then I have my PAX family. And so it's so funny because I'll go, I'm going home, and then my mom will be like, what home are you going to? Is it PAX or your real, your other home? And I just really miss him. Just love him a lot.
My name is Jorge, so I love Harold because he's one of my good friends. We laugh and joke on the break room, so I really enjoy having him in my family.
My name is Verna, and dear Verna, I've wanted to meet Verna for so long because of your puppy. It's been so wonderful with him, and I really don't feel like he's gone. I bet you all don't either. But he has just really added to all of our lives in PAX, and we're going to miss him so much. And I just wanted to share from the bottom of my heart. Come on in and see us. Come on in and do some shopping at PAX. It's calling out to you. It's the best little store you'll ever see, and better than some of the stores that are brand new even, and better than all the secondhand stores.
We can only say that here. We don't say that.
They don't say that anywhere else. Anyway, I'll go ahead and have this over to anyone. We're going to totally miss him. We love him so much. So, thank you.
I'm Bill Hohensee, and I'm a member here at Sunnyside. And Harold was always saying hi to you and was always coming up to you. But one of the ministries he became involved with was Bread Night. Now, you don't have a clue what Bread Night is. Just across the parking lot over here is the Walla Walla School of Nursing. And the junior and senior students attend there. So a couple of our members decided to start something 15 years ago called Bread Night. And that's where we feed the students there once a week. And right now it's on a Tuesday night. And they really enjoy that. Well, Harold became involved about 4 or 5 years ago, and he would just show up. And the students really loved to talk to him. And they're going to have a memorial for him this next Tuesday night because he became very involved with the students. And he would talk to them, those that were Spanish, of course. But he was very much appreciated by those students.
Oh well, we don't have nearly as much we can say, being a family that lived far away. But he was, I know, our Uncle H.O. has just always been a presence in my life, and I've always been proud to have him as a spiritual leader in the family.
This is my son Aaron, and he was the great nephew. And then I'm the niece-in-law, and especially the last 5 years, he always, just like everybody else, right? He made the phone calls, right? But I got 2 birthday phone calls. I got my regular birthday, and then he called it the second birthday when I was baptized. And just like clockwork, he would call me on my second birthday. Really appreciated that. And the last 5 years, we just became really close, and actually became closer to him than I was with my father, and he was like a father figure for me the last 5 years. Would call me about every 3 months or so, and he had a devotional, Turn Your Eyes Upon Jesus, by George Knight, and he and George Knight were very good friends, and I had that devotional. That's something that we had in common, another thing we had in common, and he says, hey Natalie, I have to tell you about today's devotional. Did you read today's devotional? And I wasn't as dedicated as he was on reading it every day, but every once in a while I'd say, yes, I did. And I actually have that book, and I have it marked with his sayings and his divine conjunctions. I do have a couple of those marked in there. So really appreciated today's sermon regarding the more meaning behind the divine devotionals. So yeah, I will miss his phone calls. I will just miss him dearly, and we'll look forward to seeing him in heaven. Thank you.
I thought I was leaving, but the person that rode with me wasn't ready to leave. So I'm back. Actually, I think my first encounter was when I spoke at Wes's graduation in 1981. I was the baccalaureate speaker for the class of 1981, and I met Harold in passing, and of course I saw Wes, so I guess we go back to 1981. But then I came to Sunnyside in 2012, and as I was walking into this particular entrance from the north side, Harold came up and greeted me, and I found out he was a veteran. So through the course of time, he invited me to go to this golf course, which I thought was kind of strange. But I met him there, Pastor Billy, and he took me around the golf course. We sat at the different benches. He told me stories. And then I told him that every Monday, Hometown Buffet has this special for the vets. So I would go by, pick up Harold, and we would go to the buffet, and we would eat, and we would have good conversations. We also had a Wednesday Bible study here, and I would attend that Bible study with Harold. Harold was quite vocal in that Bible study. Another experience I had with him, which was really, to me, quite interesting, was his brother had an accident in Dubai and passed away, and they had a memorial service for him at the Chehalis Seventh-day Adventist Church. I had never visited there, and so I told Harold, I said, I'm going to come to Chehalis because I want to comfort you. And I remember his brother loved ties, and they had 100 ties that were out on the table. Wes, were you at that service? That memorial service, that Chehalis? Right, so they were giving these ties away. So I said, Harold, let's go get his. Harold said, no, I'm not going to get a tie. And I said, but they said we can have them. He said, I don't believe it. So anyway, so Harold left, I stayed. So I went and I got like 6 ties. So I came to church on Sabbath. I said, hey, Harold, I got 3 of those ties for you. So he gladly accepted those ties, and I still have my 3 ties too. I think one of them was like Noah the Ark. Really interesting ties. I guess this last experience, I had heard that Harold was in the hospital. No, I want to go before that, because Verna, the first time I met Verna, Harold, sometime between 2012 in 2017, Harold had to go into the medical center for the flu. It was so I went in and there was Verna. That's the first time I met you, Verna. The second time I met Verna was a few weeks ago. I heard that Harold was at the medical center, so I went in, and Harold did most of the talking. And so I took his hand, I prayed with him, and then the next day I was going to the beach. So I was on my way, and I got this call from Verna. And I didn't recognize the phone, but I picked it up. Verna said, my dad has COVID. I said, well, thank you for sharing, because I was going to be with my friends, you know. I think that was the last communication we had. You know, you told me your father had COVID. Anyway, I went to the beach and prayed the Lord forgive me because I wasn't going to tell my friends that I had been exposed to COVID. Because I was looking forward to going to the beach. So the bottom line is that I had a lot of contact with Harold. He would come to my Sabbath school class, and I usually like to have two people pray before and two people pray after. I would usually ask Harold to do one of the prayers. He always had great comments. People appreciated his comments, and I enjoyed the time that I spent with Harold, and truly I will miss my friend.
On behalf of Harold's family, I just want to say thank you to everyone who shared and who took the time to be here over the last few hours. Right now, we're going to get ready for the family to have a meal together. So we just ask that you make a way out of here, and on your way out, that sharing table still has some CDs on it and some Serenity prayers, so grab a few on your way out. Thank you again, and it was just really great to be able to hear so much more about Harold and how wonderful of a man he was. So thank you again. Have a good night.
Mm-hmm.